I'm Rebecca Fryer with Kingstonist News. Here's what's making headlines today, October 4th, 2022. History was made yesterday as Chief R. Donald Miracle with the Council of the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte and the Federal Minister of Crown, Indigenous Relations and Northern Affairs, Mark Miller, participated in a signing ceremony and announced the conclusion of a partial settlement agreement regarding the Culbertson Tract specific claim. The agreement will see nearly 300 acres of land returned to the First Nation, along with $30 million in compensation. However, not everyone in attendance was happy with the agreement, with a few audience members making their disapproval known with audible scoffs. To read more about what both sides have to say about the deal, you can check out Kingstonist.com. On September 30th, officials gathered in Belleville to announce a one-year grant of nearly $450,000 to support substance use and addiction services for youth in Hastings and Prince Edward counties. The cash will be used to support Carios, a counseling service specializing in treatment for youth experiencing any level of substance use or misuse, both personally and or with a family member. According to a release, the pandemic has had a direct negative impact and effect on our local youth population, with them reaching out and in need for substance use and addiction services in record numbers. 63-year-old Hugh Peaver of Loyalist Township has been charged with possession of child pornography following an OPP investigation. Police say they got a call on September 27th about a concern that an individual may be in possession of child pornography and executed a search warrant at a residence in Bath on September 30th. As such, Peaver was arrested and charged with one count of possession of child pornography, and he was released with a court date coming up in November. Tonight at City Council, in addition to parking meters, City Councillors are expected to debate allowing some residents who live in the East End to partially block the sidewalk with their vehicles when they park in their driveways. Currently, City of Kingston bylaws forbid any obstruction on sidewalks that would impede the free movement of pedestrians. However, the city has discovered that a number of residents in Greenwood Park, specifically on Bluffwood, Cottonwood, and Cypress Streets, cannot actually park in their driveways without partially obstructing the sidewalk. The driveway is simply too short. So a staff report circulating ahead of the meeting tonight outlines two different options for council. They can either discontinue the sidewalk parking exemption, which isn't good for anyone, or they could issue a permanent bylaw exemption for the 54 resident units affected and included in the initial program. So to read more about this and the city bylaws and what would be allowed and not when it comes to blocking the sidewalk for these 54 residents, check out Kingstonist.com. As the temperatures drop, the cases of COVID-19 are on their way up, and as such, outbreaks have now been declared at Providence Manor and Kingston General Hospital. Sydenham 4, a resident floor at Providence Manor, is now under quarantine, in addition to Sydenham 3, with all residents being placed on contact and aerosol precautions. At KGH, a number of patients on Connell 10 have now tested positive for the virus, meaning that visitor restrictions are now in place. And Kid 7 at KGH is also currently experiencing a COVID-19 outbreak. And lastly, you can't miss them, a pair of brightly painted pianos are now resting in Springer Market Square and at the Visitor Information Center here in Kingston as part of a new project aimed to bring music and joy to various parts of the city. Spearheaded by Tourism Kingston, the pianos, 3 of them are being installed throughout the city, and they are free to play for anyone, regardless of your skill level. The 3rd piano is set to be installed at the Kingston Airport just a little later this month. For more on these stories and other headlines, or to submit your own news, visit Kingstonist.com and become a subscriber today. I'm Rebecca Fryer. Have a great one, Kingston.